there, Crafty Mavens. It is Kelly, and I am back on Free Flow Wednesday. And I am just going to be doing a 12 by 12 layout using my hip kit from March. Now, I showed you the mood board at the beginning, and one of the things that I took away from it were the shoes, and I loved all the colors. And you know, I really want to try a pair of those shoes. They're teaks, and I'm not sure if any of you have any, but if you do, leave me a comment about how they are, because I have bad feet, and I would love to know if those really are good and comfortable. So anyway, sorry, you want to hear about the layout. So I chose the Pink Fresh Studio papers because it had a bunch of colors, and if you remember back on the mood board, there was a whole rainbow of colors, and in the bottom section there was like something that was dangling. I really couldn't tell what it was, but when I saw this piece of paper from Pink Fresh, I thought this is perfect. It's got the little dangling action going on, it's got a bunch of colors, and I knew that I wanted to scrap this photo of me and my son. And you know, I felt like this was not an overtly feminine layout or paper choice, and I don't have a problem using feminine papers. And if you have been a subby of mine, you know that I have scrapped plenty of photos with him with pinks and peaches and flowers and, you know, things like that. So it's not that I'd shy away from it. I just like to include some, you know, at least half of the pages to have more of a masculine or just not a, or a gender neutral theme. You know, I just don't want it. I don't want him to look at it and be like, well, geez, mom, you know, all of the pages have to be girly. But so anyway, I just popped up my photo on some craft foam, and that tissue like paper that I use, that is from Hazel and Ruby, and I found that at Michael's, and it has a beautiful pattern. It's like white on white, and I love it because you can just tear off a small section of it and it will last me for a very long time. And it's just, you know, it's just a nice, interesting little layer piece. And, you know, for that, that's one of those things that I just enjoy. So I'm going through the ephemera and trying to see what I want to use. And I end up moving the picture onto the other side of the page because I feel like it just makes more sense with how I want to take it. And, you know, by the time I figure out what I want my title to be. So in just a second, you'll see that I switch it, and it definitely makes a better layout decision for me. Sorry, my husband must have come in at that moment and was talking to me. I had to pause. I'm watching Criminal Minds at the moment, and I don't want to waste, you can't figure any, what I'm trying to say is if you aren't paying attention, like at least with listening, you can lose track of what's going on really quickly. So, you know, losing those little things. So I definitely wanted to make sure I got all of that. So in the hip kit, some of the things that they had were Pink Fresh Studios and this basic gray Saturday morning flower pack. And, you know, like I said, I have no problem using florals on my boy pages. And what I liked about this is that it had some colors that, you know, I thought just were perfect. They weren't overly girly, but you know, I just loved them. And I love the yellow buttons. It's definitely a really pretty bright pop. And you know, there was a time when I would use buttons on quite a bit of my pages, so it was fun to be able to pull this out and use a button again. So I'm just going through the different things of the kit and seeing what I want. And what I pulled out these basic gray cork stickers, but I just didn't like the cork with this layout. I wanted it to remain kind of bright and springy, and I felt like the cork just didn't add to that theme for this, you know, mood board and for this layout. So I went ahead and I cut the flower in half. I am pretty frugal when it comes to things like that, especially things that I love, because I want to be able to use every little piece of that I can. And I also have an affinity for the little birdies, and so that green bird I thought was just perfect, and he had a little orange belly, which, you know, matched my son's shirt perfectly. So I really liked the way that this part was starting to come together. You know, it was like as soon as I moved the photo and figured out that that flower was going there, the layout just really kind of took care of itself and just started falling together pretty quickly. So I'm really liking the way that it's looking, so I want to go ahead and get things placed down. I usually put some string or jute in my buttonholes, but because the button is underneath the bird, I decided just to leave it because I didn't want to add any more bulk under the bird. And I did pull out some of the Pink Fresh wood veneer hearts. I love that package. It's got like hearts and asterisks and oh, I can't remember what the third thing is, but different shapes, which to me make it so much nicer because I don't always want to use the same shape. So the other thing that came were these awesome green thickers. Oh my gosh, I love this spring color green. And when I saw them, they're in one of my favorite fonts, and I think it's Doll. And I just really liked the way that it went, that the title fit on top of that yellow triangle pattern, and then the suite just tucked so nicely in between the layers of the photo mats and the ascending part of the T. So I was really pleased with the way that came out. The only sad thing is that particular thicker package only has 2 lowercase m's. And I briefly thought about switching it to an uppercase M, but I knew that it would throw off the way that the title sat. And I'm trying to be really good and not, pick and choose. If something's working on a layout, I want to go ahead and use it and not hold on to it for something else, better that may come along. So I knew I wanted to get some of these shapes on, and I wasn't quite sure how I wanted to do it, and I end up just leaving the yellow heart by that title cluster and pulling out the sequins that came, the sequin puffy stickers. Could not get any better. I love sequins, I love puffy stickers, and when you combine the two together, it is perfect. So I was thinking that it would be nice to bring some dimension to the top of the page, and I put that green little sequin up, and then I decided I wanted to keep the colors of the sequins the same, so I moved them to where the pink's on the pink and the yellow's on the yellow and the green's on the green, and I just really liked the way that looked. And then for the last little detail that I'm going to be doing is I am going to be putting the wood veneer asterisks in the title cluster and also down by the little saying underneath the photo that says enjoy the little things. Anyway, that is it for today. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks again for joining me, and I hope you have a great scrappy day. See you soon. Bye.